that could have, as some say, asymmetric or a negative backdrop to it. There's a difference, don't you think?
There is, and I think the trade war is real, and it can continue to escalate and get worse. I wouldn't minimize. I'm just saying each time you go through what's happened in the past, every single one of those things had a slew of people who were articulating very negative stories about what could happen to the U.S. economy and the earnings profile. Every time. If you go back, the Italy bond scare, I mean, we can go through a whole list of them, and every single time with some 6-9 month perspective, this set of U.S. companies, the big tech companies, healthcare industry, they all collectively were able to grow their earnings and make the stock market in the U.S. a superior investment to basically everything else over a longer time frame. And I don't think it's different this time. Clearly, if we continue to make things worse and worse with China, it could be the case. I just don't think I should position for it now on the chance that happens.
Was there you have a feeling that we're making it better and better?
No, I don't think anybody would argue that. And I think the economy is worse across multiple metrics versus 6-9 months ago. The question is, do I buy and hold a 1.5% yielding instrument, or I guarantee myself a loss on $16 trillion elsewhere, or do I take a shot at companies that I think can grow their earnings that trade at 16, 17 times and maybe don't have massive exposure to the China-U.S. debate, and there's plenty of those securities that are out there.
Brenda, and I know you're on the hunt for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this time around is different because there is more uncertainty. We have two countries, China and the United States, where everybody has thought for the last year or so that, an agreement would be, would come to pass because it's in everybody's best interest. And here we are, it's dragging on. And the question is there a point when it drags on long enough that it really starts to hurt? And so we're kind of at the cusp of that with tariffs being escalated. The consumer's been really healthy. That's where I disagree with some of Jim O'Neill's comments about the state of the consumer, because I don't think it's anything like 2008. The consumer's balance sheet is very healthy, but it's just a question of...
But he described it as over-levered.
Yeah, if you look at the leverage on the consumer side, it's pretty minimal versus what it was in 2008. We have consumers refinancing, having more money in their pockets every month as a result. So I think the consumer is healthy, but in my view, it's a question of, is there spillover where companies start to pull back, maybe they don't hire that person, maybe they put on a hiring freeze, and then that starts to trickle down and impact the overall consumer.
Let's kick around our call today. I'll get to you in a second. I just want to get to the stock that's on the move. It's JetBlue. A catalyst call to buy it at Deutsche Bank. So they are looking for individual names that look pretty attractive. There's a 2% mover today. That's JetBlue. The stock over the last 3 months is down 3%, so it hasn't done all that much. What about now? When you invest in these
It makes a lot of sense that you'd be interested in looking at a stock like this. I haven't looked at it in a while, to be quite candid. I own United still. I own Southwest as well. I am not in JetBlue, but there is something to be said for it, Scott, on this sell-off and some of the things that they point out about less international exposure and the possibility as the 737 MAX at some point in time does come back, that will be something very positive for them as well. But I think you can wait. I don't know that JetBlue is really ready, to take off just yet. I think there are other names that are performing better at this point in time, but JetBlue is a name that absolutely I think should be on.
The problem is there barely are any names that are performing in this space, period. Over the last 6 months, Delta's up 13.5. Every other name is negative,
right?
And JetBlue is flat.
That's what happens to airlines. That's what happens to airlines when you have recession talk. I mean, none of this should be surprising to anyone. When you go into recession talk, people start talking about companies like this not making it through the storm, okay? I don't think that's the case at all, okay? I'm in Alaska Airlines. I like that. I like JetBlue. I like Southwest, which you just mentioned, because if you want to be in this space, the U.S. economy is doing so much better than the rest of the world. Why do you want to take the chance of being in something that's got international exposure if you want to be in this space? By the way, this space, the transports in general, haven't been doing so great. So add that to the list of sectors of the stock market that are anticipating the most anticipated recession ever.
Are you going to buy a fresh transport today, given the concerns that are out there?
I have my position in Alaska Airlines. It's a full position, okay? So I'm in. I'm not rushing out to buy JetBlue, but I'm not getting out of the space.
You're just telling people to have a look at places like the transports.
Listen, if you're not in transports, this is probably a good time to start building exposure. You don't have to load the boat right now, no pun intended. But yeah, it's probably appropriate to dip a toe in.
Okay. Coming up. Okay.
Oh, forget it. You just buy Amazon. I mean, that should be everybody's investment choice. We don't need to have a show, just Amazon. I mean, I'll tell you where the value is.
Okay. Hey, that's your point of view. I mean, that's fine. Options bulls are making bets on the transports. Hey, maybe it's him. Maybe it's Lebenthal.
Hey, I'm exposed in there with you, Jimmy, so I hear what he's saying,
You
man.
and I are bookends today. A lot of energy. Right. A lot of energy. I'm feeding off of him.
I'm not saying that it's a bad call, but you need to be making another call with that, and that, excuse me, that the fears about the recession in the economy that we've bottomed.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm implying that when I say the most anticipated recession ever. We don't have to have a recession. It's stupid to have a recession. You said it's a self-inflicted wound. It is a self-inflicted wound. So let's stop inflicting it on ourselves. Get the China situation better. By the way, Brexit is a self-inflicted wound. But these things don't have to happen. If the president wants to be reelected, he's got to get this solved in the next 3 months.
All right. So unusual activities coming up. We're going to let you know whether you should buy Peloton and its IPO. That's a very interesting story. Our Leslie Picker's following that money, and the halftime report's back after this.
High-growth companies need to ask...
Hemorrhoids. You talk to your GP, but you don't really get anywhere. Because the NHS has limited surgery for hemorrhoids, so you go on suffering in silence. Okay, maybe not so silent. It's time to speak to Xroid. They specialise in a new, fast, safe and effective procedure for hemorrhoids with no downtime. And the procedure takes just 30 minutes or less. Don't be one of the 8 million people in the UK suffering in almost silence. Get back to what you love doing. Xroid. Be kind to your behind. For free advice on hemorrhoids, text KIND to 81156.
The new Vauxhall Combo Cargo delivers. For the heavy lifters with its payload of up to a ton. For the fuel savers with its highly efficient engines. And it delivers awards, including International Van of the Year 2019. New Combo Cargo carries British business. From 168 a month with 6 years 0% APR. Vauxhall. British brand since 1903. Conditional sale. Minimum 18% deposit plus VAT at 20% on total price. Financed by Vauxhall Finance subject to status. 18 plus. Small business users only. T's and C's apply. Search combo offer.
I'm getting strawberry notes and a flutter of sweetness without adding sugar. Clever. It is. Yazoo Kids uses a lactose-reduced milk that enhances flavour without adding sugar or artificial sweeteners. Milky deliciousness and packed with goodness. Very clever. Strawberry Yazoo Kids supports change for life. Yazoo, shake it up! Contains naturally occurring sugars. Milk is a source of calcium, which is needed for the maintenance of normal bones.
At Tesco, we can pop our pasta in your Astra, our red Leicester in your Fiesta, or our mayo in your Mondeo. All you need to do is try Click and Collect. Just go to tesco.com, order your shopping, then click and collect. With the minimum basket spend now only £25. And if you fancy something a little more exotic, we can even put our pad thai in your Qashqai. Try Click and Collect at tesco.com. Every little helps. Selected larger stores. Booking charge may apply. See online for full terms and conditions.
This summer at Chessington World of Adventures Resort, answer the call of the wild. With over 1,000 of the world's most amazing animals and over 40 of the wildest rides and attractions. Meet the Gruffalo and all your favourite characters at the Gruffalo Summer Party and so much more. Book early and save up to 40% at chessington.com. It's Britain's wildest adventure for all the family.
FedEx shares slipping to their lowest level in more than 3 years today. Options traders, though, they're sticking with it.
Yep.
John and Pete Nigerian tell us that in unusual activity. Pete, you're up first.
Yeah, I'm going to kick this one off. When the stock was trading actually $2 lower than it is right now, it was trading around 150.80 at the time, Scott. That's when we started to see some of these buyers walk in and start to make a position that they wanted to do to see some sort of a bounce. They're going for the 162.5 calls. And what they're doing here is, you can see this, there's about 3,000 of these were bought, about $1.50 is what they paid for it. But they were also selling the 170s against this. So it's a call spread. I'm in these calls. I like it. I'll be in these for about a month. I got one more for you that's much, much bigger. The XRT. We don't talk about this a lot, but here we are with the retail ETF. Very, very well balanced. We've got some buyers down in here. Stock was a little lower on this one as well. Traded about 38.80 at the time when they bought these. 22,000 of these calls. They cost about 25 cents. These go to September 6th. That's when they expire. So these aren't a full month. This only gives you a little over a week. So I'll be in these very short term, but these are the 40 strike calls. Keep an eye on this. It's already moving towards 40 right now.
Okay. Quick one for you, Scott. Take a look at Procter & Gamble, PG. Why? It's had a great year so far. I mean, look at the performance. And now they're coming in and they're buying November calls. With the stock at 120, they basically are buying the 125s. They just took profits on the September 120s. Now they rolled those profits up and into the 125s. Obviously, $5 higher. I'm in these, probably be in these until like the second or third week of October. Another one real quick about the consumer. Take a look at MasterCard today, MA, because MasterCard is pretty flat. It's basically 276, but this one has outperformed all year, continues to be one of the stocks that people focus on for how is the consumer doing. We see them buying calls in September. I think these 280s that they're buying are a play on back to school, so I bought them with them. I think I'll be in them about 2 to 3 weeks, Scott.
All right, good stuff. Come on back this way.
Thanks, thank you.
Because the investment committee is answering your questions straight ahead and you still have time to reach us, cnbc.com/halftime. Or tweet us. We're back in just about 2 minutes.
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started losing my hair. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way for me to keep my hair. Keeps sends me clinically proven treatments that can't stop my hair loss, which means no more covering up. Get 65% off your first order.
If something happened to you, what would happen to them? Their home, their education, their future. You need life insurance, and chances are SelectQuote can help you get it for less than $1 a day.
SelectQuote found Jacob 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife Wendy a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Our secret? At SelectQuote, we aggressively comparison shop up to 10 highly rated companies to find you the company with the best rates.
We found Gary, 35, a $1 million policy for only $22 a month.
Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
Call 1-800-515-1155 or go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs.
At a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
September 19th, Vice President Mike Pence live at the Delivering Alpha Conference. Just one of the influential names at the most important investor event of the year. Go to deliveringalpha.com to reserve your spot now.
I got things I want to do, but student loans were holding me back. Credible.com helped me save $600 a month with a great rate. Now I can go do what I want to do.
Visit Credible.com to see how much you could save on your student loans.
Bank fees, they're frustrating. Get me annoyed, you know? Chime gave me a new perspective on banking. I don't have to worry about overdraft fees. There's no surprises, no hidden fees. I love banking with Chime.
Start banking with Chime today at Chime.com.
Attention if you have an annuity or structured settlement. It's your right to sell your annuity payments for the cash you need now. Call the Peachtree Pros. They've been helping people for over 20 years and are professionals at buying structured settlements. It's your money to use for a new car, housing, or to manage debt. If you have a structured settlement and need cash now, call Peachtree today. Call 866-476-7082. That's 866-476-7082. Representatives are available now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Evans. Here's what's coming up on the exchange today. Bonds have gotten way out of whack. The question is it a temporary cyclical aberration or a global bond market structurally and maybe permanently broken? We're going to discuss all that. Plus, a tariff hangover for whiskey. We'll talk to a distiller whose business in the EU has come to a complete halt as tariffs there have taken hold. And Hall of Fame running back Terrell Davis says CBD could have extended his career. He's launched his own CBD line, and he'll join us live to talk about that ahead. That's for you guys and Jarians. Scott, back to you.
All right, good stuff, Kel. We'll see you in just a bit. Thank you. All right, let's answer some of your questions now. Annie in Portland has a question on J&J, and it's timely. Brenda, you own the stock, so what's the advice?
Yeah, I think you continue to hold it here. This is a good company with great fundamentals. If you can look past the headlines related to baby powder and opioids, the underlying business is still growing really nicely, likely to have above industry growth trends. Actually, the stock is still attractively valued, so we like it here.
All right, John, got one for you. Mike in Columbus, Ohio, Papa John's.
Obviously, now that they have gotten out of the trouble that they were in with the former founder and CEO, people have just poured back into this name. So you take a look at it just in the last couple days, the amount of upgrades. Stiefel took them to a $60 target. MKM took them to a $55 target today. I like the activity, and I think a lot of people have loved this one for a long time if it weren't for Mr. Shacker.
Okay. Speaking of Papa John's, don't miss board member, investor, NBA legend, the big Aristotle. Shaq Fu.
Nobody better than Shaq Fu.
The Diesel.
Best investor out of sports ever.
Superman.
That? Yeah, he is Superman.
The big cactus. He has like $1 million.
You're going on.
He has $1 million.
The sheriff.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, Shaquille.
That's who we're talking about. He's going to be up next. We're looking forward to that, or on Power Lunch.
Yep.
Okay, fitness company Peloton disclosing its S1 as it prepares to go public. Our Leslie Picker's following the money with us with those details. Leslie, I sort of joked earlier. I called it a fitness company, but boy, Peloton's calling itself a whole lot more.
Yeah, media, technology, fitness, exercise. I mean, you name it. They are describing themselves as that type of a company. There you go. Media, software, product, experience, design, retail, apparel, logistics, so many areas that they are involved in. And what's interesting when you look at the prospectus, that the high-level financials look pretty solid. I mean, they're doubling revenue, top-line growth doubling year over year in the year through June. Losses quadrupling, but still about $200 million relative to that $1 billion top line, which is an improvement compared to some of the other IPOs that we've seen recently. But it's harder to get a sense when you really drill down into the sub-businesses how much they're making on the various components. How much are they making for tread, for example, the treadmills that they're selling versus the stationary bikes that they're known for. They say that they have a significant majority of the revenue coming from those bikes, but they don't actually break down exactly the differentials there. So it'll be interesting for investors and analysts to really dig into this and try and find an appropriate valuation that makes sense for this IPO.
Because harder, you got lower multiple if you focus just on the bikes, higher multiple if you focus on the subs and the recurring revs, but that's only 20% of the revs right now.
Exactly.
So investors really have a decision to make.
Exactly. And one could say that, well, if you buy the hardware, then you ultimately get kind of roped into this subscription model. So there is almost a lagging indicator, so to speak, in the prospectus, because right now, so far, they've only been selling the treadmill since 2018, for example, and they've only been selling the bikes since 2014. So theoretically, the more people that do purchase these bikes and do purchase these treadmills, the more subscriptions you'll sell over time. Now, how investors exactly model that out remains to be seen. And interestingly, Scott, the gross margins for both of those in 2019 were almost equivalent, about 43%, which I was pretty surprised to see. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that their hardware is vertically integrated. They produce everything themselves. They deliver everything themselves. So they are able to capture higher margins at this stage. And they say they should be able to improve those over time as more and more people sign up for the service.
Okay, Les, thank you. That's Leslie Picker. In a word, you want a piece of this?
Yes.
You do?
Yep, but I would flip it quick.
As you normally do.
Like we said at the top of the show, it's very fast, every trade.
Okay. 30-year bond yield falls to a record low. We're going to trade it next on the half.
Trade boldly. Daily 3X leveraged ETFs from Direction. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus. Available at DirectionInvestments.com. Read it carefully.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new, durable, non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because granite stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your granite stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a granite stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-652-6184. That's 1-800-652-6184, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-652-6184. Call now.
There's only one way to win in the corporate world.
I wish there were more ways to win.
Like how FanDuel's free pick'em game gives you more ways to win this fantasy season.
So easy to play.
Easier than laughing extra hard at the boss's jokes.
Good one, boss!
With FanDuel Fantasy Sports, there's always more ways to win.
Welcome back to the Halftime Report. I'm Seema Modi, and this is Futures Now. It's a big day in the bond market. The 30-year yield dropping under 2%, record low, while the U.S. yield curve remains inverted. Our traders today are Scott Nations and Brian Stutland. Scott, got to start with you. How worried should investors be at this point with stocks seeming to ignore this move in the bond market?
Well, Seema, I think the world is confused about an inverted yield curve. It's not a switch that causes some sort of a recession. It's a predictor. It's not a very good predictor. But with the 30-year yield at 1.93%, there's only two reasons to be buying bonds here. Either you expect to flip them higher, good luck with that, or you're not scared, you're terrified.
Interesting. Brian, if the 30-year yield cannot find its way back to 2%, what will that mean for equity investors?
Well, when you look at it, Scott mentions basically the cup half empty, which is the inverted yield curve. People want to say recessions, and let's be honest, banks are going to have trouble with earnings going forward. But below 2% on 30 years out, I think any sort of sell-off, volatility in the market, there'll be major share buybacks going on. Corporations can now AAA rated borrow out to 30 years and basically get dividend yield that after tax is better than the interest rate that you're getting at the 30-year yield. So that's going to be very bullish for stocks. So I think there's a floor. There might be some volatility ahead over the next year, but after that, look out to the upside.
Brian and Scott, we're back with our digital show on futuresnow.cnbc.com tomorrow. Halftime. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Futures Now is
Hemorrhoids. You talk to your GP, but you don't really get anywhere. Because the NHS has limited surgery for hemorrhoids, so you go on suffering in silence. Okay, maybe not so silent. It's time to speak to Xroid. They specialize in a new, fast, safe and effective procedure for hemorrhoids with no downtime. And the procedure takes just 30 minutes or less. Don't be one of the 8 million people in the UK suffering in almost silence. Get back to what you love doing. Xroid. Be kind to your behind. For free advice on hemorrhoids, text KIND to 81156.
The new Vauxhall Combo Cargo delivers. For the heavy lifters with its payload of up to a ton. For the fuel savers with its highly efficient engines. And it delivers awards, including International Van of the Year 2019. New Combo Cargo carries British business. From 168 a month with 6 years 0% APR. Vauxhall. British brand since 1903. Conditional sale. Minimum 18% deposit plus VAT at 20% on total price. Financed by Vauxhall Finance subject to status. 18 plus. Small business users only. T's and C's apply. Search combo offer.
Live big and spend less on the brands you adore. And dine by the waterside. Who could want more? Lap up the savings as much as the view. With Ted Baker, Hackett, Nike and Coach too. Lock Fine and Five Guys make it a date. You can shop, meet and eat every weekday till late. So sit back, unwind, and let style lead the way. And give yourself a different day at Gunwharf Keys. Waterfront outlet shopping.
I'm getting strawberry notes and a flutter of sweetness without adding sugar. Clever. It is. Yazoo Kids chooses a lactose-reduced milk that enhances flavour without adding sugar or artificial sweeteners. Milky deliciousness and packed full of goodness. Very clever. Strawberry Yazoo Kids supports change for life. Yazoo, shake it up! contains naturally occurring sugars. Milk is a source of calcium, which is needed for the maintenance of normal bones.
Whoa! Shell saltwater supercars. They look fun.
Science-fueled fun, actually, Dad. Toy cars that run on salt water.
Fuel the family fun with Shell Saltwater Supercars. Fill up with £30 or more and you'll qualify to buy a car from just $3.99.
I want one.
Okay, Dad.
Fill up on fun with Saltwater Supercars at Shell. Participating sites, conditions apply. See shell.co.uk/saltwater supercars for details.
All right, let's get some final trades or final thoughts in your case, AP.
I think the risk reward is actually positive on China news. Okay, I think if it keeps getting bad, the market could be affected, go a little lower. If we get any positive announcements, 6 months from now, the market will trade at 20 times earnings. So I wouldn't be as negative as everyone else on what's going to happen there.
Do you have a target in your mind, the best case, base case, worst case, like you used to do?
If they work it out, it's going to be way better. If it continues to get worse, it'll be a little bit worse. So you use the word asymmetry a lot on the show today. It's asymmetrically positive on China news.
All right.
That's what I think.
All right, cool. Good having you here.
Thanks.
Good to see you. Adam Parker. Pete?
I'm going to give you as a final trade today, AMD. I'm seeing some paper in there, Scott, and they're actually going out to November buying. So they're buying a little bit more time than we've been seeing generally overall. So we're seeing some of that to the upside right now.
The doctor?
Yeah.
Urban Outfitters. I think it's back to school play. They're buying September 6th expiration calls.
Okay. Brenda?
CVS becoming more of an integrated healthcare company that should really benefit from a shift to lower cost healthcare, inexpensive, and a decent dividend yield.
Farmer Jim.
Hey, Judge, here's an investment that people should think about making in the back half of this afternoon.
Glad I called on him.
Okay? Final investment.
You nervous?
Yes. Go get him, Jim.
Marathon Petroleum. Look, take your toehold in at 4.7% dividend yield, 7 times earnings. What do you think, we're going to run out of diesel fuel? Not me.
We might run out of time, though, if you don't stop. The exchange begins right now.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everybody. Here's what's ahead. Another crazy yield sign. The S&P 500 is now yielding more than the 30-year U.S. Treasury bond. That's only happened once before. What's it telling us? We will debate. And a tariff hangover. We're going to talk to one distiller who's seen his European profits sink to zero as trade wars continue, what he plans to do to fight that, and who may be affected next. Plus, former Denver Broncos running back Terrell Davis is here. His bet on CBD sports drinks, his take on Andrew Luck's retirement, and who he's betting on this football season. We'll get into all of that. But we begin with today's markets, and Seema Modi is here with those numbers.
Hello, Kelly. Here's where we stand at 1 p.m. Eastern. Stocks actually at session highs right now. The Dow currently up 212 points, S&P 500 up by 17, and the Nasdaq is higher by 28. 3 of the best performing sectors, retail, tech, and energy. But it's the bond market that is also commanding attention. The U.S. yield curve inverting further, and the 30-year bond yield breaking below 2% to an all-time low of 1.93%. In fact, the average dividend yield of stocks on the S&P 500 of 2% is now higher than the yield on the 30-year. Let's talk retail as well. XRT, that's the ETF for retail stocks, is up about 2% just today. So it just speaks to the strength and outperformance that we have seen in retail stocks, not just this week, but last week as well. Chico, this is a small cap with a market cap of $300 million, but better than expected earnings. The stock up 18%, and management on the call talking about how it's reducing its exposure to China and getting more bullish on Vietnam, India, and Indonesia. Kelly, back to you.
And that's a theme today, Seema. Thanks very much. Welcome to the exchange, everyone. I'm Kelly Evans, and a lot of overseas news today. The German 10-year Bund yield hitting a record low of less than negative 0.72% overnight. Meanwhile, the Italian 10-year yield falling below positive 1% for the first time ever. Now, all this coming as UK leader Boris Johnson confirmed that his parliament would be suspended until mid-October. The highly controversial move means the government will have less time to negotiate before the October 31 Brexit deadline, and the pound did fall sharply this morning. Let's drill down on these markets with Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange. Bob, is August over yet?
Let's hope so. Not only is the volume low, but it's not been a great month. It's lived up to its reputation. So we're rallying today, but we're rallying into a bit of a news vacuum. That's really what's going on. Now,